Hello and welcome to Your Business, Your Wealth. My name is Paul Adams, and I'm joined today by the nicest man in finance. His name is Corey Shepard. If you ever need to bend an ear about a difficult
Kramer.
topic, Corey Shepard, not Jim Kramer. That's right. But Corey, we got a little bit of a different kind of episode today, where oftentimes we're reviewing things that are articles, say in a financial publication, etc. Today we're branching out into assessing other clips from other YouTube channels. And because we don't start small here at Your Business, Your Wealth.
No, why would we? Yeah.
I say we go straight to one of the biggest financial YouTube channels out there. And we're going to take a look at Dave Ramsey.
Poking the bear.
Well, and I'm not meaning to poke the bear here. You guys notice periodically I get really wound up, etc. This one we're taking with a little more of a serious slant because we think that some of the way Dave Ramsey, and I believe this is his daughter, who are on the show together, and I want to give her just a ton of credit because as Dave really, I think, crosses the line into just being mean, and, you know, having a show with not anywhere near the reach he does, I do have to have Corey sometimes pull me back to make sure that I'm not being mean. And she tries to do that with Dave in this episode, but you can see Dave just really wants to go after the situation of somebody disagreeing with one of the tenets that he's very zealous about. Okay. And so what we're going to do, we're going to tune into this YouTube channel. We're going to watch a little bit of it. And what they're doing is they're looking at an Instagram video where a guy and his daughter are talking about her buying her first car, but being able to take the money she saved up and invest it, probably with her dad at an Airbnb property where she's going to earn interest, and she's going to use that interest to pay for the payments on her car. So we're going to watch that together here real quick. Corey and I are going to be reacting live.
We're a financial channel reviewing a financial channel reviewing a financial channel. Whoa.
Oh, yeah. The rabbit hole
We're in
goes
the
deep,
Matrix,
y'all.
folks. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
We're at a car dealership right now, and she's about to buy her first car. Tell me how you're buying your first car.
This morning, I went to the bank. I got my first car loan. I qualified for $15,000.
At what interest rate?
3.5%. With the money that I have saved up, I have $7,000 in cash. I'm going to invest that into an Airbnb property and get 14% interest back, so that way I can use that money to pay off my car loan. So basically, kind of getting a car for free.
Wait, Maddie, can you explain that one more time, a little more simply?
Yeah. So it cost me 3 cents to borrow $1 from the bank, and then I go and take that dollar, not my dollar, and I give it to someone for 14 cents. And then so 14 minus 3, 11, so I keep the difference in the middle.
Wait, what's that called?
Arbitrage.
Boom! You buy assets that then cash flow and pay for your stuff.
Okay, so we'll stop there for just a second before the Ramsey reaction. Corey, first reaction to that young lady and her dad from you.
So, you know, he's obviously doing something cool. He's teaching her in the real world, and he's involving some of his own money because he absolutely, and Dave's going to talk about this, he had to co-sign on the loan. I mean, she's 15, so she's not doing it all on herself. You're not buying an Airbnb for for $7,000, you know, so yeah, he's allowing her a screaming deal. Like, he's giving her a huge advantage. No one would get that in the free market, but it's for educational purposes. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, which I think is key, is that this is they're not constituting this strategy as here is the way to retire.
Right.
They're illustrating a tactic of being able to borrow money for less than you're able to invest it for.
Now, she said it's basically a free car, which I would disagree with that because you're buying the car still. It still costs what it costs. You could be investing that in something else or saving up that money for. So, you know, it's not a free car, but I like the system he's building, because if she just saved up all the money for the car, bought the car, she'd have the car would go down in value. In this case, she has the car, she pays off the loan with her income, and if it's still flowing, then she still has the income and the car. So like I like that. And it's not like she bought an $80,000 car as her first car.
Right, which I think is something that's easy to overlook. She's buying a super reasonable car for her first car, but now let's go to the Dave reaction.
I mean, he's so proud.
Well, I
Okay,
mean,
and
he's
I
so slimy.
There's a few things.
You need to take a shower after watching
Oh
that.
my
Slimy.
gosh.
Like, can you pause it? That like right there, like this is the beginning of the Dave meanness. Like, what is slimy? Like what I just don't understand how that connects to what I just saw at all.
Like, yeah, what's the joke? About asking a girl if she's still in high school. That's slimy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a dad trying to teach his daughter something cool about finance and choosing to posting it online. Let's keep
Now
going.
especially with our, you and I especially don't put a lot of value on cars or spending. So I probably wouldn't do that with my daughter for the first thing. But I think you said when we were prepping, she can't buy a house yet. Like that's a bigger
Right.
deal. So she's 15. I would rather actually have her be 15, buy that first car, realize how quickly the shine comes off and she doesn't care as much anymore. And it's a much cheaper lesson to learn that early in life. And maybe that saves her from trying to buy expensive cars for the rest of her life because she just doesn't care as much anymore. It takes the mystery out of it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So let's see what else he has to say. We stopped at slimy.
It just drips in arrogance.
Well, there's a lot of things about this. Number one, I really don't feel like you can get an interest rate. I don't think you can get a loan. How old was she?
She's 15. She cannot get a bank loan.
No, so he co-signs, which
Yes,
probably helped
yes.
get a lower
Yep.
interest rate. And then,
Yes.
what I don't understand is the $11,000 in an Airbnb property.
You can't buy an
Or
Airbnb
$7,000
property for $11,000
Yes,
either. You
that's
could
what I was
invest
like,
in
I
it
don't-
with a bunch of partners into
Yep,
an
her dad's
Airbnb
her
property,
partner.
and
But
that's
what she would-
assuming the Airbnb property stays rented and the local city council doesn't pass a law against Airbnbs.
Oh.
In which case, your little butt would be broke
Pause.
at 15 years.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, this is where it's easy to talk back at someone when they're not here to respond, just like we're doing to Dave, I guess. But he's so out there. Yeah, there's all kinds of risks in investing. So probably her dad knows that and is teaching her about that. Yes, but that's why it's all small numbers that they're doing right now.
Exactly. Exactly. And Dave gets even more fired up. Let's wait for it here.
Years old because your father's a moron. Oh my!
All right. So this is the thing. As you listen to this and you have people that you care about, maybe you're a client of our firm, and you wish that the people that you know and love could make better decisions with their money or learn how to be better stewards. When you introduce them to an advisor, this is what they think they're going to get, is this kind of treatment. They think that, and I even see it, people that have been a client for a year or two, and they'll show up to a meeting and be like, you're really going to get mad at me because I bought a car. I'm like, I'm not going to get mad at you. But why do they feel that way? It's because they hear things like this, where what Dave is saying, doesn't need to be said, because what he could say is, here's why that strategy doesn't work. But,
Right.
your stupid butt is going to get tripped up in it, or your dad's a moron. Those things don't further the conversation for somebody to perform better with money. What it does do a good job of, and a lot of these shows do this, is it does a really good job of keeping you hooked and keeping you through the next commercial. Because you're like, what crazy thing is he's going to tell some lady that her husband's a deadbeat and she needs to leave?
It's kind of Jerry Springer Financial. It is what it is.
Indeed. Let's get a couple more clips out of this before we're done.
My God! Was I unclear?
No. I was like, we're not going to harp on the people. We're going to harp
Too
on the
late.
idea.
Too late.
But
Hold on. That right there, that's where it felt the most like me and you.
Yes, exactly right. That's,
Wait, hold on. We don't want to get too out of control.
which which I will rant against the machine, if you will, the machine of, misnomer financial advice and financial publications, etc. But even the times where there's an author that's specifically wrong, I'm not this kind of mean.
It's true.
This is a lot coming out of, and notice, if you watch Dave Ramsey much, and we're going to look at more clips of this over time, is if it is a little bit outside of his narrow band of what somebody ought to do to build their finances, then everything outside of that narrow band is somebody being foolish, someone being unwise, someone being whatever. And he goes on to say, in fact, I think we'll hear it here in a moment, there's never been a person who's gotten wealthy arbitraging a car. It's like, right. But how somebody learns to arbitrage, I would hope, would be with smaller amounts of money first.
Yeah.
Like one small arbitrage is don't pay your home down with an extra payment every 2 weeks or an extra payment a month. Pay your home down by investing that money somewhere else and then taking out one lump sum and paying off your home when you're ready, but keep maximum control of your money. And if somebody really wants to pay their home off over time, they're making a decision about trade-offs. It doesn't mean they're a moron. It doesn't mean they're silly. It doesn't mean they're an idiot. It doesn't mean they're going to get their butt handed to them if the Airbnb does. There'll be consequences to whatever actions we choose to take. But it's not this.
When I was a younger man in this industry, I confess that there were moments when I would get off a call. I probably came and ranted to you a couple of times, or I didn't say it in those words, but it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this person is doing this? Like, how could they possibly? And I had a real breakthrough probably, 10 years ago, where I realized like everyone's only doing exactly as well as they possibly can. Like no one is looking at the facts, making a decision that says, I'm going to pick this one because it's worse for me. They're just not. That's not how our bodies, our biology, our human psychology works. Now, the framework that they're using for deciding which one is better might be a different framework than I would use. And so that's where I bring into with clients the idea that, and this is from our old friend Joe, like every interpretation is equally valid, but not all interpretations are equally powerful.
Yep.
And we're trying to help clients find the one with the greater power, but they're never wrong for picking the one they did because it did something good for them in the moment that they picked it.
Well, that and to your point, any decision somebody's made before they go meet with an advisor, they made of their own volition. That was their call. So then advisors, if you're listening, like the worst thing you could do is tell a client that they were foolish for doing something that they did because they did it. You're calling them foolish. And that's not just like if you're trying to lead an employee to higher levels of performance, you don't go up to them and say, that was foolish what you did. You come alongside them and you show them how they could have done it more effectively.
Or your kid. Like this dad his daughter probably said, hey, Dad, I want a new car. Look at this, $11,000 car. It's so cool. I really want it. Or 15, 14, I forget the numbers. He could have said, you're stupid for wanting a new car at 15. But he didn't. He's like, well, let's figure it out.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep. Well, let's get a little more here. I jumped ahead just a touch. I think this is right where Dave goes on a pretty good rant.
The set of assumptions you have to go through for all that crap to be true are absolutely ludicrous. Okay? Number one, you have never met a millionaire. We studied 10,167 of them. Zero of them, precisely zero, said, I borrowed money on my car and arbitraged it into being a millionaire. Zero real millionaires do that.
But how many real millionaires kept control of their money, kept debt on their real estate, and then continued to build their fortunes while they relied on fixed interest loans on their residential and commercial income
Right.
properties.
One of Dave's big tenets, his baby steps is, get out of all debt except your mortgage first as quickly as possible, and then pay down your mortgage really aggressively, and then start investing. Is basically what he's
That's
after.
exactly right. Yep, which would mean that a huge amount of millionaires, probably interviewed by his study he's referring to, did use leverage early on to get themselves. Now, maybe at some point they say, okay, I don't need leverage anymore. I'm going to let real properties get paid down, etc. But he's right that nobody did it with a car. But what he's leaving out is that many, many, many of them did it with some degree of arbitrage.
Yeah.
So let's go a little deeper here.
Zero. None.
Zero, Corey.
I borrowed money
you missed
on my
it.
car and put $11,000 into an Airbnb when I was 15, with all of my business acumen on display, because she didn't even know what the interest rate was. Go back and watch the clip again. She's and they had to edit it. What was it? Oh, 3.5. Well, tell him again, Matt. Tell him again, darling, what you did. Oh.
So see that? Like that
right there.
This is why people don't want to go meet with a financial professional. Know that if you guys ever have a financial person talk to you like that, it's really good reason to leave. Because
Don't say goodbye, just go.
You just get up, pack your bags and leave. But it's that somebody of that mindset who's willing to say something that mean to a 15-year-old girl, and specifically about her. Probably the same guy would say, online bullying's no good. But he's willing to say these mean things about this 15-year-old girl, all because he doesn't like her strategy. Like, now, what would he say about the 15-year-old girl if she said, I saved up money, I bought a cash used car, I'm dollar cost averaging into what Dave Ramsey refers to collectively as a good growth mutual fund. And if she was doing the things that he said you should do, she'd be brilliant. Now, by the way, neither one of those have enough information to say she's brilliant or she's not.
Or not, right?
Because we don't even see the full financial picture. But in terms of wanting to teach a young person to do something unique and different, and frankly, that dad, kudos to that dad for simply teaching a 15-year-old what arbitrage is, let alone giving her the opportunity to exercise it. Like, that's a great dad. Now, is it sustainable? Well, she'll find out pretty quick. Dad can probably make the payments on an $11,000, because of $15,000 pre-approval, $7,000 she has in cash, $11,000 car loan approval. So she could take her $7,000, put it in there, and maybe they don't get Airbnb. Well, the funny thing is, I bet you a 15-year-old with any kind of job can probably make a payment on $11,000 loan, and or dad could, because dad's the one that got her in this situation. But she's probably not going to ruin her credit, because she's probably not building it until she can sign on her own.
Right.
And it's not enough money for her to get hurt with. What bothers some people is you're not doing it my way. We have clients that don't do it the way we recommend. And our job is to say, here's the outcome from the strategy you put together. Here's the outcome from the strategy we put together. And here are the differences. And they get to choose. It doesn't become you need to do it our way, or don't call into our radio show anymore, or don't, or worse yet, these people didn't even come to him with advice. They just found this clip and played it. And it is meta that we're reviewing the review of somebody else reviewing financial advice, but we're not reviewing the advice. We're reviewing the orientation that people are afraid of with money. Is that somebody's going to act like they're smarter and they're going to treat me like I'm an idiot. Now, I'm going to let all the clients of the world or potential financial advisor clients in on a bit of a secret that Corey and I discovered quite some time ago. And that is, most advisors are this way. Now, the reason that they're this way is it's a psychological defense mechanism that's taught to them by the financial institutions they first work with. Because early on, let's say you're a 20-year-old intern at Northwestern Mutual or whatever, and you go out and you're trying to help people, but you get said no to a lot. So there's two things that can be going wrong. It could be, wow, my message isn't landing. I need to work on what I'm saying or my delivery or who I am as a person when I show up. Mm-hmm. Or they're an idiot, which leaves me not having to work on much myself. And the early on training inside most financial organizations revolve around the people that don't listen to you are idiots. They don't say it outright, but you can pick it up in the hallways.
Sometimes they do. They're a weed.
Or yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Total sales language. Yeah. Like they're a weed, pull them out of your process. And what it is, it might just be somebody thinks a little bit differently about money. And maybe they're not a good client for you, but it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. And because that's so prevalent in the industry, you're not wrong when you see something like this video where somebody's just being made wrong for the financial decisions they made, instead of having some understanding of people come from whatever knowledge set they have. Because how much better, this is an 8-minute long video. And I got to tell you guys know I can get riled up and ticked off. I got uncomfortable listening to a, Deca millionaire plus with a huge audience just hammering this guy and his daughter. But the fear that you might have of that would happen in a financial meeting is not misallocated. And you may have to go meet with a few people. And if you feel like somebody's acting with you like you're an idiot when you don't agree with them, it's a real good strategy for many advisors not to get questioned. And lots of people do just go, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I am a fool. And they'll line up with that financial advisor. And the financial advisor has a whole book full of people that are willing to listen to what they say and not much else.
Yeah. And I think it's even worse when most of the time an advisor is not going to say it to their face as much as Dave's saying it right here. But if you're if the advisor is thinking it, the client can feel it. They can sense it.
Yeah. Like if that guy
I learned early on.
Yeah. If that guy and his daughter just came on Dave's show the next day, even if Dave tried to be really nice, don't you suppose some of this is going to come out? Just in a mannerism and a look and et cetera. Yeah. And so my advice for everyone out there, if you do have an advisor that's treating you like this, get a hold of another advisor. It might be us. If we're not a good fit, we'll point you in the right direction. But feel free to reach out to us. But the bigger thing is if you feel like every time you talk to somebody that they're treating you like you're foolish and you don't know what you're talking about, and that could be your CPA, your attorney, your financial advisor, any of those, it may make sense to look for a new one. And mainly because there may be ideas you have that will be more effective than what the advisor has. And if the advisor's not willing to sit with you and do the math, like we say, we don't care what the right answer is. We just care that we get as close to optimal as possible. And that might be something we bring to the table, but it's also those clients, they got, two sets of eyes also on the screen. And they may have an idea that's more effective than the one I came up with because they know something about their own finances I don't. Well, if you created a relationship like this, you're never going to have clients wanting to co-create anything with you or check the math. They're going to be afraid to tell it to you, and they're just going to transact somewhere else, do that thing that the advisor didn't approve of, and they may hurt themselves or may help themselves greatly with that outside decision. But if you don't have an advisor that you can help check the math on it with, then you don't really have a teammate. You have somebody you're buying products from, and you're hiding the products you're buying from other people from them. So if you want to have somebody who's going to co-create that future with you, it has to be somebody willing to listen to your ideas and do the math and not simply say that's outside of what I normally teach and it's no good. So that's what I hope we can leave you guys with today. We're going to put the full link down in the description. So if anybody wants to go check out this full episode, and don't hesitate.
More
if
of
you
the
think
same.
If you think we're inappropriate for calling it out, please put that in the comments too. We want to know. But then also, if there's something else you saw in this episode or in one of the clips we showed or going to the YouTube video later, come back here, put a comment on. we want to hear it because we want to see what's going on for you guys when you're listening to the show. So with that, I don't want to forget you guys to forget. Super helpful to subscribe. Super helpful to subscribe both on YouTube and to the podcast. It makes a big difference when you guys like these videos, and putting a comment on might not only get you some interaction with us, but may also put this content in front of somebody else that needs it. So with that, from myself, from Corey, from everybody at Sound Financial Group, we hope that this episode has been a contribution to you being able to design and build a good life.